Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Stephanie Humphrey channel and the Stephanie Humphrey podcast. Let me get my podcast ready, right? So, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Stephanie Humphrey channel and the Stephanie Humphrey podcast. As always, it is such a pleasure to come into your home, your car, wherever you might be at this time. It is so amazing to come into your space to share whatever is on my mind for that particular Thursday, whether it's the Let's Talk About It Bible edition, whether it's Sip and Say with Stephanie, which it is tonight is Sip and Say with Stephanie special edition. Whether I'm hosting a guest that are coming on, like I really enjoy hosting this channel and hosting the podcast to share information with you, to update you, to share my heart and my thoughts and my feelings. It's just a blessing. And so, hey, welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie, special edition. So welcome. Y'all know I normally don't come on live on fifth Thursday nights, but I have not been on the show hosting. Well, I hosted a little bit when my Uncle Deacon Gregory was on. Did you all not enjoy? Oh my gosh, did you all not enjoy the teaching that he brought forth for us on worship and then on work? Come on and hear somebody with the W's. So we thank God for Uncle Gregory, Deacon Gregory Humphrey, for sharing Bible study with us for the last 2 Thursdays. But I wanted to come on because I haven't talked about Breast Cancer Awareness Month or Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I want to share just a reminder to you to get out and vote. And so that's what tonight is about. And so I really want to go ahead and get started. But before I do, let me know how you all are doing. How are you doing emotionally, mentally, spiritually, socially, and physically? How are you doing? I am doing good, y'all. It's been a busy last month. Let me just tell y'all, it has been so busy with me in and out of town doing my homework. You all know I started school back in September. So doing my schoolwork 4 nights a week is 4 nights a month is when we meet for our live in-person sessions. And then of course we have homework to do on the days that we don't meet, and then assignments to do and things of that nature. And so y'all, it's been busy. And so it's been a blessing to have individuals that are willing to come on to host for me. I will be on next Thursday at 6:30 because it's going to be 2 days at that point after the election. And I do want to come on to talk about the election results with you. But those next 2 Thursdays, I'm hoping to have a guest to come on to talk to us. And then we'll have, or the next 3 Thursdays, I think it'll be, because we have 5 Thursdays in I think we have 5 Thursdays in November. Let me double check. Yeah, well, we had 5 Thursdays. Okay, so no, we don't have 5 Thursdays next month. We have 4 Thursdays next month because the first is tomorrow. And so we have 4 Thursdays. So the 7th, I'll be on. Lord bless me to live to see it. The 14th and the 21st, I do hope to have a guest. And then on the 28th, you all know I usually do my Thanksgiving celebration. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that again. And I may have a few guests coming on with me to talk about their traditions and their family and what they do for Thanksgiving. I don't traditionally celebrate Thanksgiving because I recognize the history and the harm that is behind that day, but I do use it as a day to give thanks to God for my many blessings, for my family, for my friends, for God's goodness towards me and towards those that I love and towards all of us. And so I probably will still do the giving of thanks service. And then I'm hoping to have a guest to come in the first 2 Thursdays in December, the 5th and the 12th. I have a guest in mind. I just need to reach out to them and see if they're able to join us. And then you all on the 19th, that will be or excuse me, the week of December 16th through the 20th will be our virtual celebration of Jesus Christ. So I'll have my family and friends coming on to teach us with the Christmas songs. I don't say Christmas, I say Christmas. And so we have 5 Christmas songs that we're going to be bringing the word forth that particular week. And let me backtrack you. I actually updated the dates. It's going to start that Sunday instead of Monday. So we're going to start December 15th and we're going to end on the 19th. I'm going to need to end that 19th because the 20th, I'm not able to host the show that evening. And so December 15th through the 19th will be our virtual celebration of Christ. We'll have nightly services right here on the Stephanie Humphrey channel and the Stephanie Humphrey podcast, 7 p.m. every single night. I will be teaching on Thursday. And again, family will be teaching, and maybe a friend, but definitely family for the rest of that week or for the first part of that week. All right, y'all. So y'all let me know in the chat how you're doing. I didn't see any, so I guess you all are doing fine. I'm doing wonderful, y'all. I'm excited. I'm blessed. I'm favored. God is good. And so I'm thankful. I'm in a state of absolute thankfulness, you all. Let me just tell you. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about breast cancer awareness. And so you all know breast cancer occurs when cells in the breast divide and grow without their normal control, you all. So the way that God, and I believe God designed our body, the way that God designed our body, it works, it's perfect. The way God designed it is perfect. He has a certain rhythm to the body. He designed a specific rhythm to the body. And so, in a healthy body, just in general, in a healthy body with its natural systems, working the way that God created it, there's growth and death of cells. Cells grow, cells die. There's a pruning process that happens when our body is working naturally in its natural state of being the way that God intended. But cancer occurs in our body when these systems, they don't work right. There's something off balance with the systems. And so cancer occurs when those systems don't act right. And again, breast cancer occurs when cells in the breast divide and grow without that normal control that God designed it to be. About 80% of breast cancer begins in the milk ducts. About 10% begin in the lobules, and a few cancer cells begin in other breast tissue. Okay. And I got this information from the Komen.org website. All right. And so let's just talk a little bit about breast cancer. You all, I do this every single year, so I'm not going to give you as much information as normal, but I did put the links already in the description so you can check out the information for yourself. Share it with your family, friends, your coworkers, anybody that has breasts, which is everybody, male and female. Share it with everybody so that they know, so that they have the information about breast cancer and know the signs and symptoms of breast cancer, what they can do to help decrease their risk of getting breast cancer, and then how to navigate the process if they do find, if lumps are found on the breast. And yes, I did say men. It's a low percent, but men do get breast cancer as well. So let's just talk a little bit about it, you all. These are some things that we can do to hopefully keep us from getting breast cancer. Okay. I'll talk about the warnings and signs in a minute. Well, let's just talk about, let me just talk about just this first, because this is the order that I have it on my paper. So first, we should know our risk. Okay. Know your family history. Y'all hear me say that. Just know your family history. Know if anybody in your family line has ever dealt with cancer, or in particular breast cancer. Even you should know if high blood pressure, risk for heart disease like diabetes, into even mental illnesses. We should know the medical history or the family history of our loved ones, of our family, our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, our uncles, aunts, siblings. Like, we should know the history of our family, because some sicknesses, some illnesses are family related. Okay. And so know your family history. Talk to your doctor about your family history. If your doctor is like my doctor, she has on record my family history from my parents, my siblings, my grandparents, and like my uncles and aunts. And so she doesn't have every single detail, but like some of the major things that like cancer, like some major things, she has that information just so that we can keep a check on the history of my family. You know, if something should happen to me or if an illness hits me, we can look back and we can say, okay, so that runs in your family. Let's see how we can try to prevent it from affecting you. And so know your risk, talk to your family about your history, about your risk for breast cancer, have a plan in place, get a plan in place to monitor your body and what's going on with your body to prevent not only breast cancer, but other diseases or illnesses, sicknesses that may happen. So put a plan in place. If you know there's a history of breast cancer in your family, what's a plan that you want to put in place to hopefully help you keep from getting it? And if you do, what steps are you going to take? Like I know we're talking about breast cancer tonight, but again, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, if that runs in your family, talk to your doctor and have a plan in place for you to help to hopefully prevent you from getting those diseases, those illnesses. And then if you do, what measures are we going to put in place to monitor or to keep a check on, the particular illness, or to, what's the word I want to use, to manage it. That's the word. Thank you, Lord, to manage whatever the illness is. And hopefully in your management phase, you can, like, especially if it's high blood pressure, you can get that weight off or do what you need to do, get your exercise on. So hopefully you can, you will no longer have blood pressure, like high blood pressure. And so there's things that you can do. And so talk to your doctor about it, get a plan in place, get screened, you all. Make sure that you're going to your yearly screening, your yearly mammogram. If your doctor recommends an ultrasound, make sure that you keep that appointment as well. And I'm also going to say, men, make sure that you get your prostate checked. I know this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but men, get your prostate checked. Make sure that you're getting your colonoscopies. If you are of age to get colonoscopy, make sure that you're getting that every 5 to 7 years, whatever. I don't remember the recommended year, but whatever the year is, 5, 7, 10, whatever it is, check with your doctor to find out how many years, but make sure that you're getting those regular checkups. Make sure that you're going to your annual or your regular, colon screening and colon check and everything. Make sure that you're going to your yearly wellness visit, your annual physical exam. Make sure that you're getting that. Ladies, make sure you're getting your pap smear done, and getting, get all of our privacy areas checked out. Just make sure that we're going to our regular screening. If your doctor has recommended additional screenings besides your yearly annual, or your yearly, which is annual, your annual screening, if they recommend additional screenings or more frequent screenings, make sure that you keep those appointments. Make those appointments and keep those appointments so that you can remain as healthy as absolutely possible, okay? So get your mammograms, get your prostate check, get your annual screenings, get your colonoscopy when it's time to do that, and whatever other screenings your doctor recommends, get those done to try to keep yourself as healthy as absolutely possible. Know what's normal for you. Like, what's your normal blood pressure? What's your normal breast texture or smoothness? Like, what do you have lumpy breast? If you have lumpy breast naturally, then more than likely any lumps you feel are already there. Now, if it's a different kind of lump, which we're going to talk about tonight, then that's reason for you to get screening. But know if you have lumpy breasts, know if you have dense breasts, know if you have any pimples on your breast. Like, I have a pimple on my breast, even still. I've had it for 18, 17, 19, almost 20 probably years now, that it's just there. It doesn't bring, it's fine. It's not cancerous. And so it's there. It has gotten infected. We did talk about removing it, but it hasn't gotten infected in a while. And so it's there. And so just know the texture of your breast. Know about your breast. Know what's normal for you. So if you feel anything abnormal, then you'll know to, call your doctor, make an appointment, or go to urgent care, whatever way you choose to make your medical appointment. You can go get that done and get that particular lump or growth checked out, okay? Even know what's normal for you in every other aspect of your life, like your normal blood pressure. I already mentioned that. For prostate cancer, know you're the normal texture of your penis, and if there's any growths or lumps that happen, make sure you check with your doctor. Just any part of your body, know the texture of your body, know what's normal for you. And then if you feel any growth anywhere on your body, you can make a medical appointment and get it checked out to make sure that it's not like a cancerous growth that's going on in your body, or another type of illness or sickness that's happening in your body. So just know what's normal for you. Make healthy lifestyle choices, exercise, eat a diet that's low in fat, low in sugar, low in sodium, or no sodium at all. If you come to my house, I don't cook with any seasoning for me. When my family comes, when my friends come, when I have people over, I will put seasoning in the food because I know they're used to it. But I do not cook with salt. I do not cook with salt at all. Last time I used salt, I don't even know when it was. I'm trying to even think if I have salt in my cabinet right now. And if I do, it might be old. I don't know. But I don't cook with salt. And I pay attention to the items that I'm purchasing in the grocery store to make sure it's low in sodium. And so make sure that you're eating a vegetable rich diet, or you have a vegetable rich diet, a fruit rich diet, legumes, beans, egg, boiled eggs. If you like boiled eggs, I know some people are allergic to eggs or they can't process eggs. So just rich in protein, your vegetables, so you can get your nutrients and your vitamins. Your whole, if you love bread, whole grain breads are best. Better than the white processed loaves that we enjoy. I'm trying to think more of my nutrition research. I can't think of anything else right now. Try to eliminate desserts as much as you can. Chips, try to eliminate those or decrease those as much as you can. Any packaged food, try not to eat much packaged food. It's better to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. It's better to eat lean meats. It's better to eat, again, whole grain foods. If you're going to eat dairy, I enjoy almond milk. When I do buy it, I haven't bought any kind of milk in a while in the house. I think the last time I bought some, my nephew was here, so made sure he got some milk. But just dairy, dairy products. I don't know the recommendation for dairy products right now. I just don't remember. Then, of course, if you're lactose intolerant, make sure that you're taking care of that. So just check out, do some research about nutrition and healthy eating and healthy foods, and even how to prepare foods in a healthy way. We don't need a lot of butter, a lot of salt in our food. So just do some research or talk to a nutritionist, talk to your doctor about some recipes so that you can prepare your food in a healthy way. If you can, maybe you want to hire a chef or, someone to do food prep, which is what I've been thinking about. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it for this month or for November. Go ahead and call one of the Chef Kevin, and see if I can get some meal prep done to see how that will work in my lifestyle and with my budget, And so, if you can get someone to prepare your food and make sure that they know your expectations, like no salt or low sodium, whatever the case may be. So whatever works for you, learn how to cook healthy so that you can be healthy and your family can be healthy and whoever else you're cooking for can be healthy. Okay. So make healthy lifestyle choices, even with your relationships. Make sure that your relationships are healthy for you. We're going to talk about domestic violence in a few minutes. So just make sure that even your business partners, the community organizations that you're a part of, make sure that those groups, those partnerships are healthy for you. And if they're not, make a plan to have a conversation with those individuals in charge, or maybe it's time for you to leave that particular organization, maybe go to another one that you can support and have healthy relationships, or maybe start your own if you feel so led to do. So just do some research. Check with yourself and see how you're feeling about the relationships that you are involved in, romantic, family, business, friendships, all the relationships. And if it's healthy, if your relationships are healthy, I pray they continue to be healthy. If they're not healthy, just take an assessment and see what you need to do about that relationship. Okay. So make healthy choices, lifestyle choices all the way around. Limit your alcohol intake. If you're a smoker, try to quit smoking. If it's absolutely possible, get you into a program potentially. If you desire to quit smoking, talk to your doctor, see what kind of programs are available to help you quit smoking. If you're a drug addict, and I know that you probably aren't listening right now, but maybe you are. If you're a drug addict and if you're ready to let those drugs go, talk to your healthcare professional, see what kind of programs are available so you can get into a program to support you as you withdraw from depending on those drugs. And that includes alcohol as well. All right, y'all. Last thing, take action. Maybe you want to do some fundraising like Relay for Life or Race for the Cure or the More Than Pink Walk. There's plenty of fundraising opportunities for you to be a part of to support yourself or a loved one, a coworker, a friend who's a loved one, but just someone that you care about, supporting them in their journey to breast cancer health, or not breast cancer health, that's not right, but to hopefully not get breast cancer. But if they have been diagnosed with breast cancer, to make sure that they're navigating breast cancer in a healthy way. So I guess I could say breast cancer health, navigating breast cancer in a healthy way. And even if you don't know anybody personally who has struggled with breast cancer or who has breast cancer, you can still fundraise. You can join groups. You can reach out to somebody in your church or your community group or your job that may have struggled with breast cancer and they're in remission, or they are struggling now or navigating through breast cancer. Support them in any way that you can. If you don't want to fundraise, maybe you can find out from that individual. Maybe I can bring you over a turkey dinner, go to Food Lion, or I shouldn't have said Food Lion, but go to a grocery store and buy them a meal, restaurant, get them a meal. Just ask how you can support them, and their family as they're navigating through. All right, y'all. So what are the warning signs of breast cancer? Let's talk about in men first. So the most common warning sign of breast cancer in men is a painless lump or thickening in the chest or breast area, okay? Any change in your breasts or your nipples, because men do have nipples, are not as pronounced as women's nipples, but they're there. And so any change in your breasts or your nipples, men, could be a sign of cancer, okay? Including a lump or hard knot or thickening in the breast or chest or underarm area. Usually this is a painless growth or thickening or knot, but it could be tender to the touch. If there's a change in the size of the shape of your breast, and I know y'all say y'all got a chest, but y'all little pecks be jutting out. That's your breast. Praise the Lord. If there's a change in size or shape of your breast, or if you want to say your chest, man, to make you feel more manly, that's okay. If there is dimpling or puckering or redness of the skin in that breast area, if there's an itchy, scaly sore or rash on the nipple, if the nipple pulls in or is inverted, or if any other part of your breast is pulling in or is inverted, or if you have some nipple discharge. Nipple discharge is rare in men. So if you see it, if it's there, get it. Y'all go to get it checked out. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Go to the emergency room. Go to urgent care. Go to the other medical, facility in your community that's similar to urgent care, or make an appointment with your doctor as soon as you can, so that you can get whatever that rarity that's happening in your breast, that unusual thing, that not normal thing that's happening in your breast, so you can go get it checked out. So make an appointment or go to, the hospital, whatever you need to do, go get it checked out. All right. So for women, warning signs of breast cancer in women, and just know, men, just because those warning signs are happening doesn't necessarily mean it's cancer. It could be a growth, a benign growth. The important thing is to get checked out so that you can eliminate cancer or whatever it could be, so you can hopefully eliminate cancer. They can say it's benign, and then your doctor and you can make a care plan for yourself about how to navigate that growth or that discharge or whatever the symptom is. All right, warning signs of breast cancer in women. If you find a new lump, or if things feel different in the breast area, nipple area, underarm area. If there's liquid, okay, let me backtrack. Let me start to the top and work down. If there's a change in the look or the feel of your breast or your nipple, for example, there's some discharge in your nipple. Usually it happens in just one nipple, but if there's some discharge there, um, if there's a change in your breast, if there are lumps or growths, or if your not lumpy breasts start to feel lumpy, could be a sign of breast cancer. Some breast tissue does have a normally bumpy texture because I do have some bumpy textures on my breast. But if it's something outside of your normal breast texture or size or shape, then it could potentially be breast cancer. Get it checked out. If you do feel a lump that's harder or different from the rest of your breast, or if there's a change that has happened in any, like my little pimple, if there's a change that happens there, I need to get it checked out because something more could be happening. It could be cancer or something else going on with that bump. So if there's any type of lumps or growths that are outside of your normal breast, get it checked out. And make sure that you're not just your breast area and your nipple area, but your underarm area as well. Okay. Because there's some, I think our breast tissue extends out in that area as well. Again, if your nipple is leaking, that may or may not be breast cancer, but get it checked out. If your nipple is leaking, that's not normal unless unless you just had a baby and it's leaking milk. Now, if it's milk, that's different. But if it's leaking, if you're not breastfeeding, if you just have a child and there's no breast resonating in your breast, and it's a bloody discharge or any type of discharge that is not normal for you, you should get it checked out. If there is discharge to your nipples when you squeeze them, if the discharge occurs in only one breast, if the breast discharge is bloody or if it's clear, and if the breast discharge causes an infection or some type of other condition, then you need to get it checked out. I remember when I had my breast, I think it was my left breast, it was actually discharging blood. And thankfully it wasn't inverted, but it was discharging blood. And I was just like, God, this could be cancer. Like, what is happening? I don't remember there being any lumps going on, but there was that discharge. And so I was like, I need to get it checked. And I did a self-assessment. I was like, have I hit my breast that would have caused it, or have I had any injuries, any falls? So I did do an assessment just to kind of see if something had happened that would have caused it, and nothing had happened. So I immediately called and went in to get checked out, and my doctor said it's possible this could be breast cancer. We need to get you a mammogram, and I got my mammogram, and then there were some concerns. And then we had the ultrasound and we found that there was nothing there. So I believe that God healed me because that's the only time I ever had any type of discharge from my nipples, like a bloody discharge from my nipples. And so yeah, and so of course, that actually occurred. That actually happened before the age that you would normally get a mammogram, but because of that discharge, and I don't, like I said, I don't think there were any growths, not that I can remember, but my doctor wanted me to go ahead and get checked out, and I've been getting mammograms since then, and so I'm thankful that I was able to get it done because you're supposed to wait until you're a certain age. Um, but then, of course, if there's signs and symptoms, you get your test earlier than what you would normally get your test done. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because colon cancer, I think for your colon check is a certain age, breast cancer, mammogram, certain age. But if there's signs and symptoms, you can get it done early and it become like a preventative, or not a preventative, but preventative care. And so thankfully my insurance, I said all that to say thankfully my insurance covered it. I didn't have to pay out of pocket for that test because it was, It was early because I think there used to be a time where if you got tests outside of your normal age range, you had to pay for those. I don't think that's the case anymore, but at that time, I think that was the case. And so thankfully, my insurance covered it. All right, y'all. So those are the signs and symptoms. We've already talked about some things that we can do to support us in our taking care of ourselves. I don't want to get too much into anything else, I don't think. Let me see if I want to go through this very quickly. So I do want to share this factors that are linked to increased risk for breast cancer. The fact that you are female, you're born female. Your age can be a common risk, being overweight or obese, taking alcohol, taking menopausal hormone therapy, and smoking. Those could increase the risk of breast cancer. Some factors that decrease the risk of breast cancer is eating fruits and vegetables. Breastfeeding and exercising are some ways to decrease your risk, okay? And there are some other risks. I've already put the Komen.org website on in the description, as well as the American Cancer Society website there about breast cancer. I think I put one more link already in the description. So you all already have that information, access it yourself, do the research yourself so that you know risk factors, you know how to um, live a lifestyle to hopefully decrease your risk of getting breast cancer and just other information that will support you as we all try to keep our breasts and body as healthy as possible. Okay. I think that's all I want to talk about with because we talked about get your mammogram, get your mammogram, get your mammograms, y'all. Make sure that you get your screenings done. If you need extra screenings, like I usually have to get an ultrasound because I have dense breasts. Just make sure again that you are following the plan that you and your doctor have established for you. Okay. All right, that's all. So it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Y'all take care of your breasts. Men and women take care of your breasts. Okay, you all. So now I want to transition to domestic violence awareness. You all know I got my purple ribbon on because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so we do want to acknowledge those who are in a domestic violence relationship situation. Domestic violence is horrific, y'all. I have seen it, and it's ugly. It is horrifying, it's terrifying, and it is ugly, and it's angering for me. I anger about it, and so yes, it's ugly, you all. And so I have talked to in previous Stephanie Humphrey Channel podcasts and broadcasts, I've talked to women in particular about domestic violence and talked to the victim, to the perpetrator, excuse me, as well. Tonight, I really want to talk to young girls. I want to talk to young ladies about relationships, about dating, about boundaries. I want to really talk to the young ladies that are under the sound of my voice right now and those who may listen to the rebroadcast. This night is for you. Now, all everybody, all women, all men can benefit from getting this information, but I really wanted to focus on our young girls and our young people as it relates to domestic violence. And so I've already put the hotline.org website in the description so that you can access that information. But as an extension of the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is the hotline.org website, they have a website that's called loveisrespect.org. So I'm getting this information from loveisrespect.org. And again, this is for everybody, but I'm really focusing on our young people. This website was created to support our young people in understanding dating and understanding healthy relationships, learning about their own personal safety, supporting other people, and getting the help that they need. So that's what I want to focus on in this aspect of our domestic violence awareness conversation. So I want to talk about, am I going to get into It's a lot of information on his website. That's why I put the link in so that you can see things for yourself. Before I get to the dating, I want to look at the warning signs of abuse. I want to do this first. And this particular part of the website focuses on dating abuse. Okay. So if you are in a relationship, so first of all, let me give you the definition of dating abuse according to loveisrespect.org. Dating abuse is a pattern of coercive, intimidating, or manipulative behavior used to exert power and control over a partner. Okay. Violence can Usually domestic violence does not start with violence. It starts off with other things that we'll talk about tonight, but it can escalate to violence and it can escalate to death. I don't know if you know someone who has been murdered because of domestic violence, but I do. I do. And so, again, domestic violence is ugly. So, if you are in a relationship and you're the person that you are in relationship with, they're checking your phone or your social media or your emails without your permission, that's a sign of that control, that intimidation, manipulation, manipulative types of behaviors. That could be a sign. If they frequently put you down, if they frequently put you down, if they frequently put you down, especially in front of others, it could be a sign of abuse. If they isolate you, that individual, that partner isolates you from your family and your friends. If they are extremely jealous or they are extremely insecure, because what I have learned about the individuals that I have seen in relationships, the abusive partner in that relationship, insecurity, bam, front and center. Insecurity was all over them. In order to feel like a man, because the two situations I'm thinking of, the male was abuser in the relationship, to make him feel like a man, he had to put his partner down. He put her down. Just it was foolishness. Extreme jealousy or extreme insecurity, yeah, that's up and down an abuser because they need to feel good, and instead of them going to get the help that they need, they exert control over somebody else to make them feel good or to make them feel powerful. If your partner has explosive outbursts, if they have mood swings and a temper, signs of abuse, any form of physical harm, controlling behavior, obsessiveness, or not obsessiveness, but possessiveness, pressuring you to have sex, forcing you to into sexual acts that you didn't agree with or that you don't want to engage with, all of those are signs that abuse is happening in your relationship. I was about to say might be happening, but it is happening in your relationship. Don't be mad. We're just trying to get you healthy. We're trying to get you healthy. Types of abuse. Young people, adults, type of abuse. There's physical abuse, emotional and verbal abuse, financial abuse, digital abuse, going back to the text messaging, social media, emails, sexual abuse, and stalking. If you have a stalker, that is a form of abuse because they're trying to control over you, having those manipulative, abusive, and controlling tendencies or behaviors. Let me go back as I'm missing a word. And we don't really think about stalking, coercive, intimidating, manipulative type of behaviors. We really don't think of stalking as an abuse, but child is listed as a type of abuse. Okay. And the website does go into details about each of those. You can do that research on your own. Okay. So those are the different types of abuse. Okay. If you find yourself, since I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and share this with you. I may be out of order with my flow, but we're going to get it. If you are in an abusive relationship, child, journal your experiences. Write down dates and times that things are happening. So if you need to go to the police, or when you decide to go to the police or get out of the relationship, you have documentation that this happened on this date at this time, and this is the actions that happened. He hit me or she hit me, because women can be abusers too. They pushed me. They cleared out my bank account, whatever the case may be. Write down, record the dates, the times, descriptions of the incidents, and keep that away from the house if you can. Like, keep it in a place where that abuser can't get to it. Okay. It could be that, and I know that's hard to do if you're trying to document what's going on. You might can't keep it at somebody else's house, but just find a safe space if you can to keep that documentation, so that you can have it in case you need, again, the authorities, you need to seek medical attention or whatever the case may be. There was a recording. So, you all, I think you've heard me say this before, but I went to a domestic violence workshop. I was about to say it was a training, but it was a training in a sense workshop years ago. And it was called Sanctuary something years ago. Actually still have the booklet from it. I know it's been at least 20 years. And the presenter, there was a child. Y'all know those little, y'all have heard me tell this story before, but y'all know those little, I think it was a Fisher Price little recorders for children. So it was a cassette recorder, so they wouldn't use your boom box or your stereo and headset. So your what we call them, the cassette tapes, the little cassette tapes we used to have before we got the CD players, and now we have mostly streaming channels. Now we used to have a little cassette player. What was it called? It had a name to it, but I can't think of the name of it right now. So anyway, this child had a Fisher Price tape recorder with a little microphone and everything to it. Well, I don't remember how old the child was, but there was domestic violence happening in the home, and some kind of way the child pushed record. I don't know if that was the Holy Ghost, but there was a record that got pushed on that little Fisher Price tape recorder, and the violence that was happening at that time was actually recorded, and the authorities were able to use that to arrest that gentleman who was abusing his partner. I don't remember what happened. I can't remember if it led to jail or whatever. That part I can't remember. I'm just remembering that little Fisher Price cassette recorder captured those abusive moments, and it helped to bring charges against the gentleman who was the abuser. And so documentation is important for, again, for the authorities, for any medical attention you might need. It's just very helpful to have that information so you can have a record of the abuse that you might be experiencing. And I would even say, if you're a loved one, I wish I would have thought about documenting the abuse that I witnessed. I wish I would have thought about documenting it myself. I didn't witness a lot, but what I witnessed, I wish I would have been documenting. It's in my mental Rolodex, because abuser didn't put his hands on me, but the verbal abuse was coming at me, and I stood there while the person I was helping got to safety. Them and their children got to safety. Got in their car ready to go. And I stood there. I'm like, God, he can say what he wants to, but if he put his hands on me, I was going to try to send him to the morgue, like, in all seriousness, y'all. And I'm saved, Holy Ghost filled, but if he put his hands on me, I was ready. I said, God, I'm not saying anything to him. I'm not going to respond to him at all. I'm just making sure that the partner and the children are to safety. But God, if he put his hands on me, thankfully he did. I think he knew better. I really believe he knew better. I believe he understood who I am and who I was. I think he knew better. But I was gonna try to send him to the morgue. I ain't even gonna lie. Praise the Lord. And so let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, y'all. So I forgot to ask y'all what y'all was sipping on. My throat dry now. I forgot what y'all sipping on, right? I'm sipping on water tonight. I got my water. So yes, I'm sipping on I'm sipping on some H2O. Okay. Y'all, let's talk a little bit about dating. Little bit about dating. Again, this is for the young people, but us adults, we can gain some information about this as well. Gosh, there's so much information on this website. Y'all should check it out. All right. So, what should you look for in a dating relationship, a healthy dating relationship? This is what you should look for: a partner who respects you, your creativity, your innovation, your individuality. They respect you. You feel safe being open and honest with them. Your partner supports you in your decisions. Even if they don't agree with your decisions, they still support you. They're like, honey, I don't know why you want to start this business in this economy, but I'm going to support you. Let me know what you need me to do. Honey, I know that you enjoy, cooking, but honey, please don't come off the job just to do that. Like, they support you, whether they agree with you or not. They support your endeavors, your dreams, your goals, you going back to school, whatever the case may be. They support you. They support your decisions. If you and your partner have equal say in the relationship, like, the events that you're going to go to, the outings, spending time with family where you're going for the holidays, if you all have like equal, say in those decisions, that's a sign of a healthy relationship. Even if your boundaries that you have set in the relationship, if those boundaries are respected in the dating relationship, if they are respected, if you say, look, honey, we're not going to have sex until we get married, or if that's not your testimony, we're not going to have sex until after 6 months, or whatever the case may be, and they respect that boundary and they're not trying to coerce you to have sex outside of your time frame or outside of your marriage or whatever, then if they respect that, then it's a healthy relationship. Even if they respect the fact that, look, I'm not going to eat meat, so don't be trying to cook me no steak and no ham, no chicken. This is my boundary. This is what I want to do for me, or whatever, whatever it is. I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock. So, this don't call me at 10:01 because I'm going to bed at 10. So whatever boundaries that you have established, if they respect those boundaries, then it's more than likely a healthy relationship. If you can communicate how you're feeling, if you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're anxious, whatever the case may be, if you're able to freely express your feelings and your partner respects those, respects how you're feeling, and they don't try to change how you're feeling, they just accept that, then you're probably in a good relationship. All right. Now, if your partner does the following, is probably an unhealthy relationship. Okay. Because a lot of times, like, I've even heard someone say, or someone think, well, this is not abuse. Like, they're not hitting me. It can't be abuse. But remember, abuse is verbal, sexual, financial, digital, and all the other ones that I already named. Abuse shows up in different forms. Okay. So this is a list of signs that your relationship is probably not healthy. If your partner is inconsiderate, if they are disrespectful to you, especially in front of other people, if they are a distrustful person, if they do not communicate their feelings well, if they try to control you or isolate you, financially or emotionally, if they humiliate you in front of other people, family, friends, others, if they prevent you from getting a job, or they want you to leave your existing job, or they want you to get fired or work to get you fired, if they threaten you, or they reveal information, if they threaten to reveal information about you to your family or friends, like maybe you all took some provocative pictures together, and if they threaten to show those pictures to your family and friends, that's enough. All of those are signs that you're probably in an unhealthy relationship. I want it to be clear that any of these signs and other signs that you may research for yourself on this website or on other sites that bring awareness to domestic violence, any of those signs and those symptoms, y'all, pay attention to them. It is not normal for you to feel unsafe or uncomfortable or anxious or afraid, or like you have to walk on pins and needles in your relationship. That is not normal. Those are signs. If you're feeling anxious, afraid, on pins and needles, like you can't do certain things, you can't say certain things, you just do things to try to keep the peace. It's those feelings that you're experiencing, those are probably signs that you are in an abusive relationship, okay? Don't write it off. Don't say, "Oh, that's just them." Don't just say, "Oh, that's just them." It is them. It is them being unhealthy. And so if you can get out of that unhealthy dating relationship, get out. Now, if it's an unhealthy marriage, ministry is not my area. So talk to your pastor, talk to a marriage counselor, talk to somebody who can advise you in marital things. But if you're in a marriage relationship and it's abusive, talk to somebody, a counselor that can support you in that area. But if it's a dating relationship, I stand firm and flat-footed to say, if it is unhealthy, get out, make a plan to get out, and get out as soon as you can. Okay, because I know that person may be controlling the finances, you might not be able to get out. Maybe there's children involved and you don't have anywhere to go. Maybe he or she has isolated you so much, your family member are hundreds of miles away. So make a plan to get out of that relationship, especially if it's a dating relationship. Make a plan to get out, and get out as soon as you can so that you can be healthy. And then if you have children, so you and your children can be healthy. Okay, do not write off abusive tendencies or actions. If it does not feel good, if it makes you feel afraid, anxious, or unsafe, y'all, it is probably not healthy. And child, I don't know about y'all, but I love me some me, and I love my peace. Woo, glory. I love my peace. And so if you are disturbing my peace, oh my Lord, I'm coming up swinging. I'm just saying. But if you're having those anxious, I'm gonna say it for the fourth time. If you're feeling anxious, afraid, like you have to walk on pins and needles, like you can't be your true self, your full, beautiful self that you are, make a plan and try to get out of that relationship as soon as you can. You all, there is information and there are resources in your community. Like I know, I don't know if I'm thinking every community probably has a domestic violence, some resources for victims or individuals who are in domestic violence. It could be at the public health department. It could be with social services. It could be a nonprofit that's operating in your community that supports individuals that are in domestic violence situations. Child, do your research, research things, find out for yourself, talk to people, and maybe church members of your community organization, maybe people on your job that you trust, that will support you and not talk about you or spread your business. People that you can trust. Get information, get knowledgeable, get educated, so you'll know, what resources are available and how you can get out of that situation safely and as quick as possible. Okay, safely and as quick as possible. Because I do know that if you leave an abusive situation, sometimes the becomes more aggressive. They may come to your job if you're working, or come to your family home, or wherever, whatever. I do know that there have been individuals that the husband or the boyfriend came on their job, and there have been situations where they murdered them on their job, or right outside, somewhere on the vicinity of their job. And so I know it's not easy to get out if you're in an abusive situation, especially if it's an abusive marriage, but any abusive relationship. So that's why I say, talk to somebody, make a plan for yourself. And as soon as it's safe and you feel like you can get out safely with your life and the life of your children, if you have children, do what you need to do to be healthy, safe, secure. Okay. All right. We've talked about warning signs of abuse. We've already talked about that. And so let me talk a little bit more about this. We talked about dating a little bit. Let's see about talking about, I don't think I want to talk about this, but I think I'll put this link in the chat. There is such a thing. I think you've heard me talk about this before, but there is such a thing as the wheel of is it? Want to make sure I say it right. Right. I want to make sure I said it right. The power and control wheel. The wheel of power and control is what I wanted to say. It was developed by the Domestic Abuse Intervention Plan, and has information about physical and sexual violence, and how the abuser may use your children or isolation, intimidation, all of this information. I'm actually going to copy this link and put it in the chat. Hey, hey, Aunt Wanda. Hey, Uncle Darnell. Excuse me, I'm just now checking the chat. And so, hey, how are y'all doing? So this is the power. I'm going to put this link in. I didn't add this to the description, so I'm going to add it to the live chat. It's called the power and control wheel, so that you can access this. And I'll add it to the description later. But just so you can kind of look at it. I'm not going to go over it now, but I just want to put it here so that you can see it. So that's there. And hey, good evening to Darren. Your handle looks very familiar, but I'm not quite sure who you are, but hello, welcome. And so that's the power and control wheel of dating. So you all have access to that. I'll put it in the description later. And so those behaviors, like within that wheel, there are those behaviors that are outlined. And if those behaviors are happening over time, it's likely that you are in an abusive relationship. So again, try to make a plan, talk to who you need to talk to, make a plan so that you can get out of that abusive situation, that abusive relationship safely and as quick as you can. Okay. So let's talk about, child, how do y'all set boundaries? Child, how do you set boundaries? We're going to talk a little bit about this because maybe you don't know how to set boundaries. So how do you set emotional boundaries? Okay, let's just talk about this. It is important for you to feel safe in your relationships and comfortable in your relationships, okay? So this is something that you can think about as you are considering emotional boundaries. Question that you can ask for yourself: Is my partner? Lord, combining partner and supportive. Woo, let me try that again. Is my partner supportive of me and my decisions for myself, both physically and emotionally? And you can also ask yourself, am I a supportive partner? You can ask, is my partner consistent in their actions and behaviors? Like if they say that they love me, do they show that they love me in a healthy way, not an abusive or harmful way? You can also ask yourself, am I consistent with my partner? Does my partner demonstrate their trustworthiness by acting in accordance to what they say? Do they tell me they love me but treat me in unhealthy ways? I didn't even read that before I said it earlier, but that's there on the loveisrespect.org website. You can also ask yourself, are you both able, or ask you and your partner can have this conversation, or you can think about this on your own. Are you both able to comfortably spend time apart from one another? Do you feel comfortable letting your partner know when you need space or when you need time with your family and your friends? Okay. If you don't feel comfortable, you might be in an abusive relationship, because you should be able to spend time away from your partner and you be at peace and they be at peace as well. Okay, so those are some questions that you can ask yourself as you set emotional boundaries for yourself. And we'll talk a little bit more about that aspect. Let me go back. So those are some questions you can ask yourself about the emotional boundaries between you and your partner. Let's talk about some, and I'm just navigating the computer here, physical boundaries. Oh, okay. We're not going to talk about physical boundaries, but I'll put the link in the chat so you can look at this later because it's a lot. Let's see how the other boundaries are looking, and I'll determine if I'm going to talk about them. So digital boundaries, y'all, we always on our phone, on our laptop, on our tablet, whatever tech device we have. So think about this as you're considering your digital boundaries with your partner. Is it okay to tag my partner in my post Or is it okay to add them when I'm checking into places where I'm on vacation, or we're visiting with our family, or we're at a festival or another community event? Can I tag them in my post, or can I check in that we're both here together? Do we post our relationship status publicly? Is it okay to follow or friend other people in my life or in their lives? What are the expectations for communication through our texting, through social media, through our emailing? Is it okay to see each other's devices? And if that's okay, then when can I check out your device? When can you check out mine? Also, is it okay to post about our relationship publicly? So, we're together at this festival, or, me and my boo just ate at the restaurant, or whatever the case may be. Those are some questions that you can ask yourself, or even talk to your partner about, to see what kind of digital boundaries you have established within your relationship. Last one is, let me see. Oh, those are the only two. Okay. So I do want to talk about I do want to say this about boundaries, and you should know what your boundaries are. Like, you should know what you will and what you won't put up with, what you will and what you won't accept, what you are and what you're not comfortable with. So you should already know your boundaries before you even engage in a relationship. What are your, communication boundaries, your sexual boundaries, your digital boundaries, your emotional boundaries, your, physical boundaries. Like I said, I go to bed at 10. Don't you be calling me at 10 on 1 unless it's an emergency. Don't come knocking on the door at 10:02 because you're not getting in. Keep on knocking, but you won't get in. So just know what your boundaries are even before you enter into the relationship. And then as you are engaging in a relationship, find out what that person's boundaries are, and then share yours so that you all can respect each other's boundaries. And again, if they don't respect your boundaries, then you might need to, let that go. Even thinking about when we go out together, who's paying? Am I paying? Or are you paying? Are we alternating? You pay this time, I pay this time. Are you paying all the time? Like, to me, that's a boundary. Get that established right away. Who paying? Um, if you're in a long-term relationship or a couple of months, like, does your partner have the password to your phone? Now, if I'm dating, you ain't gonna have no password to nothing. If I'm married, you barely gonna have the password. I don't know. Y'all pray for me. But find out about, like, are we gonna follow each other on social media? Like we've already talked about, like, are we going to check each other's phones? Am I going to have the password to your emails or whatever? Are we going to share an email? I guess that's more if you're married, in a marriage partnership. But just know what your boundaries are. Like, can I talk to, even think about, talking to male friends and female friends. Like, if you're the male, can you have female friends, or is that going to, make your partner mad? If you're the female, can I have male friends? Even to have that conversation about, like, boundaries there. Like, if you maintain your opposite sex relationship, not relationship, excuse me, your opposite sex friendship relationship, what does that look like in your romantic relationship? Can they come over? Are they going to join us? Are we going to double date because they're married, or they have a boyfriend, girlfriend? Are we going to double date? Like, boundaries. Like, those are some conversations that you can happen, again, to establish boundaries within your relationship. If your partner tries to minimize your needs or violates the boundaries you have established, then they are not showing you the respect you need and deserve, and they are not showing that they are trustworthy. Okay. So just keep that in mind as you are discussing boundaries with your partner. There was something else I wanted to share with us before we move on from boundaries. Let me see if I can find where I was. And if you are afraid to have a conversation with your partner about establishing boundaries, that's a problem. Like, that's already a problem. And there could be abusive tendencies happening already within your relationship. So again, know your boundaries. I'm going to give you a few things here. If you're cool with following each other on social media, we talked about that. If you're okay with sharing passwords, just come to a consensus on that. If you're comfortable showing, having public displays of affection, holding hands, kissing, hugging on each other. Just talk about that, because some people don't like to show affection in public. They'd rather do that privately. So just have that conversation with your partner so that you know kind of what each other's boundaries are. Know if you're okay with regularly texting each other, or maybe we need to limit our, because child, you text me every minute. Every time you doing something, or you and your family doing something, or you doing something at work or whatever, you texting me. Don't do that. I'm sick of getting your text every minute. Have that conversation about maybe if you are a texter and your partner is not, talk about maybe 3 texts a day, honey. Maybe boo, like just 2 texts a day, child. Just only text me when you about to leave work, so I know you're gonna get home safe. Like, boundaries. Group, I cannot stand group text, y'all. So anybody who puts me in a group text, I always send them a nice email. Thank you for the information. Thank you for letting me know what's going on. I would prefer not to receive these group texts. Please remove me from the group text. I cannot stand group text unless it's my family. Like me and my family, we're in group text. I love that. That's cool. But all these random other group texts, no, I don't want to be a part of it, because then you got your 10 people on a group text. Every time somebody group texts, like, I cannot stand that. That's a boundary. Do not group text me. And people have respected that boundary. Thank you, Jesus. Maybe that's a boundary for you. Maybe your partner don't want to be in the family group text. maybe they don't want to be a part of that. And so just know, with your texting, with your emails, with your communication, that there are established guidelines and boundaries, and that you're following those. Okay. If you want to spend time with your family and friends on the weekends, or y'all going on a cruise, or y'all going out of the country, or in the country, or in the state, in the city, you're just going out and about vacationing, or just eating lunch together, whatever the case may be. Know what those boundaries are. Like, you shouldn't be going with your girlfriends every weekend. You're not spending time with your boo. You shouldn't be playing basketball with your guy friends every weekend, and you're not spending time with your boo. So just set some expectations for spending time with each other and for spending time with family and friends. Okay. Set those expectations so that everything is clear. Everyone is clear about, this is what we're going to do. Maybe you want them to go play basketball every weekend because you need to rest, or you need to get some homework done, or you're working on a new business venture or whatever. So maybe you need them to be gone every weekend, and it's okay. So you need them to be gone every weekend for this month. Let them go. Next month, honey, I need 2 of those weekends back so we can spend time together. Just establish those boundaries, establish those guidelines. And it's okay if the boundaries and guidelines shift and change according to your lifestyle, according to the new adventures that are happening in your life. Just have conversations about them. Okay. If the boundaries need to change or need to be updated, just have those conversations so that both you and your partner are on the same page, and you both know what's happening in the relationship. Okay. If you need some quiet time to do your mindfulness, or your meditation, your mindful movement, your yoga, journal, or just to sit on your couch and stare at the paint on the wall, if you need that time, establish that by, honey, I need 15 minutes. I just got home. I don't want to hear nothing about no kids, no bills, no what's for dinner. I just need 15 minutes after I get home. Let me decompress, and I'll talk to you in 15 minutes. Or 30 minutes, or whatever your time frame is. Have that boundary already established. Who's cooking dinner this night, or who's cooking dinner for the week? Who's helping the children with the homework this week? Or are we doing it together? Like, who's giving the kids a bath? Or are we doing it like boundaries? Let's have established boundaries, establish routines, establish guidelines, so that everybody is on the same page. Okay. Just know, we talked about public displays of affection, but if you're dating somebody, know what kind of touches are comfortable to that person. Like, maybe you like to hold hands, or maybe you like to touch people on the shoulder, but maybe they don't like that. Maybe they have other ways that they want to be touched. So have that conversation with them about touching. Maybe they're not ready to be touched in the relationship. Even though y'all at home, y'all watching a movie on the couch, y'all got y'all popcorn, maybe she don't want to be hugged up. Or maybe he don't want to be hugged up. Like, maybe they don't want you to touch them while you're watching the movie together, while you're eating dinner, or whatever. Well, you're eating dinner, you're not touching each other anyway, I don't think. Or if you're riding in the car together, because I know a couple, dating couple, that they would like hold hands in the car. So maybe they're not ready to be touched. have that conversation, set that guideline, that boundary, and hopefully it will be respected. I don't like to be touched. Like, don't come up on me, don't walk up on me and touch me. Now, my family, we hug each other every time we see each other. I'm fine with that because they my family. I grew up with them. I know them. But random people, like, don't be touched. Like, even at church, like, there's I just don't touch me unless you have my permission. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't. If we hold a hand, it took me a long time before I would hold hands with people at church. Like, the circle up to do a group prayer. Don't touch me. That's all I'm saying. Just don't touch me. I do not like to be touched by people that I don't know. And I don't, even if I know you, I still might don't put your hands on me. Just don't, because I will shrink back. Like, I will move out of the way. No disrespect to you. It's just so, even when I'm praying for people, like when it's altar call time, I usually ask. I realize I haven't done that every time, but I usually ask, do you mind if I put my hands on your shoulders? Do you mind if I hold your hands? Or sometimes I'll just put my hands out, and if they respond, they respond. If they don't, I put my hands. I usually ask people permission because some people really are sensitive to touch because of something that may have happened in their childhood. Maybe they were sexually abused or physically abused. And so touching is not something that they want to do or want to engage in with you. Okay. So don't touch folk unless you have permission to touch them. And then find out how people want to be touched. Like, if they say, okay, let's touch. Well, how do you want to touch? Holding hands touch, shoulder touch, just our shoulders are maybe touching, no hand holding, but just our shoulders are touching while we're watching this movie. Just get just boundaries. Just set your expectations and boundaries so that you and your partner are on the same page. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Think that's all I want to say about boundaries. There is something that I wanted to share with you about consent. I want to talk about consent because I'm focusing again on the young people, and this is for young people and the seasoned people alike. Understanding consent. No means no, means no, means no all day long. All day, every day, no means no, means no. On the other side of that, yes means yes means yes means yes all day long. Okay. So let your no be no and let your yes be yes. Don't be like, well, maybe. We ain't got time for no maybe, child, because we don't have time for maybe. Either yay or nay, yes or no. Choose ye this day which one. We don't have no time for the gray area. Okay. We need a yay or a nay, a yes or a no. We don't need a maybe. Get the maybe out of the relationship. And the only maybe you maybe can have in your relationships where you want to go to the movies. Well, maybe, or what you want to do tonight. Well, maybe we can go to the movies and then dinner after, or go to dinner first and then go to movies. Maybe maybe that's what we can do. Or maybe we can go dancing tonight. They having the dance party, the salsa party at the restaurant. Let's go there. That's the only maybe you should be at. Maybe let's have dinner. Let's have chicken for dinner tonight. Well, I don't want chicken. Let's maybe have steak. Okay, let's have steak. That's only maybes that might be in your relationship. When it comes to intimate things in your relationship, touching, sex, other things, get the maybe out of the conversation. Just yay or nay. Just yay or nay. Just make it clear. Make it plain. Make it clear. Okay, that was for me. Let me see what the notes say. So consent, simply put, on the loveisrespect.org website, consent is an ongoing mutual agreement between partners about what they want to experience. In other words, the expectations. Mutual agreement between partners about what they want to experience. I mutually want to hold hands. Yes, let's do it. I mutually want to hug you in public. Yes, let's do it. I mutually want to kiss you in public. Yes, let's do it. Ongoing mutual agreement between partners about what they want to experience. Yay or nay? Yes or no? Let your no be no and your yes be yes. Okay. Let's see. So my no don't mean try harder. My no does not mean maybe. My no does not mean ask me again. My no does not mean coerce me to. No means no, and yes means yes. And it is okay for people to change their mind. If I say yes, let's do this, then I'm something ain't right, child. So, something. And it's okay to say no after a yes was made. It's okay to say a clear no. Okay, but make it clear. This is a no. Make it plain. Make it clear. Okay. And as we think about consent, it's often used in the context of a sexual activity or some type of physical contact, okay, with a partner, okay? Um, but it has more to do with the decision making beyond your actions than the actions themselves. So, what decisions are you making about the actions that you want to engage in with this particular partner? Physical activities, sexual activities. See if I want to say anything else about that. Okay, establishing boundaries are very important as it relates to consent. So let's talk a little bit about what consent looks like and what it does not look like. So this is what consent looks like. Kind of doing a check with your partner. Are you comfortable? Is this okay? Do you want to go any further? Do you want to slow down? Those are some great questions to ask if you are engaging, in particular, in a sexual activity or some type of physical activity. It's good to ask those questions along the way. Consent does not look like if I dress a certain way, or if I'm flirting, or if I accept a gift from you, if I accept a ride from you, or if you buy if you ask, can I buy you a drink, and I say yes, that is not consent. I'm just saying yes to the drink. Drink a water, drink a alcohol free drink, ha 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 ha. Or if I accept a ride from you, or if I accept this gift from you, it does not mean yes, we're gonna have sex tonight. That is not consent. It is not, if I'm flirting with you, it does not mean, yes, let's have sex later, or let's engage in some type of physical activity later. If I'm dressed a certain way, it does not mean I'm sex ready. You know what I mean? I'm not physical activity ready. Those are not consent. Though that consent does not look like that. Consent is either it's a yes or a no. Yes, we're gonna do this. No, we are not gonna do this. Clear yes, clear no. Maybe we don't have time for maybe. Clear yes, clear no. Okay, everybody understand? All right. Praise the Lord. Y'all don't get mad. It is what it is. If she say no, it's no. If he say no, it's no. If they say yes, then y'all, decide how y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. If they say no, that's it. It's a no. Just make sure that we understand that our body is our own. If our body is ours, we have a right to choose what happens with our body. Okay. Consent means respecting the boundaries that your partner has established. And these are some red flags that you can look for as it relates to consent. If someone is pressuring you or guilting you into doing things that you don't want to do, that's a red flag. Now, that's probably an unhealthy person. You need to get up and go if you can. And I say if you can, because I'm thinking if he drove, then, go call you a cab or Uber or whatever services are available in your area. If they say that you owe them, like I bought you dinner, I took you to the movies, you owe me sex, or you owe me this physical activity. I don't owe you nothing, because that is not consent. Or you owe me this because we've been dating 3 months or 6 months or however long. Okay. If they react negatively with anger, or if they look sad, or they're resentful that you all went out on the date, or that you're in the dating relationship, let me say it right so you understand. If they react negatively with resentment, anger, or sadness, if you don't consent to something, or if you don't do so immediately, you don't consent immediately, that's a red flag. That's probably an unhealthy person. You might want to flee. Okay. If they ignore your indications, your verbal or nonverbal indications that you are not giving consent for that sexual activity or that physical activity, it's time to go. Get up and go. Okay. And I would even say, young people, adults, don't put yourself in compromising situations. I remember I go to college. I lived in the dorm. I lived in the dorm. And there were relationships that I engaged in, but I was very clear about my boundaries and what I expected in the relationship. And thankfully, I didn't have anybody trying to force me to do anything that I didn't want to do. I'm thankful for that. I was really blessed in that respect. I think because I was firm from the beginning. This is what it is. This is what it's going to be. Take it or leave it. And then of course as the relationship evolve again, you can make adjustments to your boundaries and different things like that if you so choose to do that. But I was very firm about this is what it is. And again, thankfully all the gentlemen that I dated or just went out on a date or just dated or just hung out with respected those boundaries. I thank God for that because it could have been a different way. So I thank God for his grace and his mercy and his angels protecting me and keeping me. Because I will say there were two times that I can remember, like right off the bat, that I did put myself in a compromising situation where it could have went a different way. Three. Okay, the Lord just brought the third one up. Three that I can recall right now that I put myself in compromising situation when I was in college, and thankfully I was safe and nothing like no assault or anything like that happened. I'm very thankful. To God be the glory for that because it definitely could have been a different situation. All right, I think that's all. We talked about consent, understanding consent. I think you all, that's all I want to say. I just stay healthy and be healthy, you all. Just you heard me share this information. Do some research for yourself and just know your expectations for you. Know your boundaries, know what you want to have happen in any relationships that you engage in with. So know you, so that you will know what you will expect in a relationship, what you will accept in a relationship, what you won't accept in a relationship, any areas that you may be able to compromise on, whatever the case may be. Just know you so that you know what type of relationship you want to engage in with. I know me, I know me oh so well. And I know what I will put up with and what I'm just not going to put up with. I have non-negotiables as it relates to relationships, and I have things that we can negotiate on. It's all, let's talk about it. Let's talk this thing through, and we can come to a consensus on this. Okay. I think last thing I want to share, because I did talk to you all about making a plan. So I'm going to share this very quickly. A safety plan is a personalized, practical plan to improve your safety while experiencing abuse or preparing to leave an abusive situation and even after you leave. Okay. Again, we talked about that. Talk to licensed healthcare professionals, counselors, psychologists, your doctor, trusted individuals so that they can help you make a plan for yourself while you're in an abusive relationship as you're trying to leave that. And then after you leave, because I'm thinking of a situation right now where the young lady was able to get out of that situation and he would just show up on the job and just foolishness. So make a plan, okay? There is, again, more information on the hotline.org website. And there's other domestic violence websites that you can tap into, resources that you can tap into so that you can be safe. Okay, y'all, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Breast Cancer Awareness Month ends today, but the knowledge doesn't end. The research should not end. Gaining the resources and the information and the knowledge, that should not end. That should be ongoing, okay? Keeping ourselves educated about new research as it relates to breast cancer, keeping ourselves familiar with the signs and symptoms of domestic violence so that if we can recognize it in our own relationships, so that we can recognize it in the relationships of our loved ones, of our community, the young people at church, on the job, wherever, so that we can recognize that and hopefully be a help and support to those individuals. Okay. It's hard to help a person that's in a domestic violence situation if they don't want to be helped. So don't force your help on them. Let them know that you are there for them, that you support them in their decisions, that you are there for them. You can let them know, because I have let them know I'm not happy about this situation, but you're in it. If you need me, call me. If you need me, let's go out to dinner. We can just have lunch together, dinner together, go to this community event together. So that's what I did. I just made opportunities for me to spend time with the individuals that I know were in domestic violence situations, so they can just get away and just get some relief, have some peace, And so create opportunities to go out with them, to hang out with them, offer to pay for lunch or dinner, offer to go away for the weekend. Maybe I can go wherever, to the mountains, to the beach, wherever, and just be a support for them. So when they're ready to leave, they can, access you and have support from you, whatever that looks like. Okay. So we cannot force our loved ones to get out of domestic violence situations. Maybe they can't get out, but we can support them as best we can. All right. So that's all I have about that, y'all. Vote, 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 vote. Early voting is happening now in many states across America. Find out when your early voting started, when it ends. In North Carolina, our early voting ends on November 2nd at 3 p.m. So Saturday at 3 p.m., North Carolina early voting ends. So if you want to early vote, get your hind parts to your voting precinct. You can actually early vote. I think you can early vote in most any voting location, but check. I don't know for sure, because I haven't done the research. So check the North Carolina State Board of Elections website and get the information about early voting so that you can have that information. I might pull it up now for you, or I'll add it to the description so I don't have to be distracted. I'll add it to the description so you can have it later. Or if you're not in North Carolina, whatever state that you're in, go to your State Board of Elections website, find out when your early voting ends, and early vote if that's what you choose to do. If you don't want to early vote, November 5th is election day. November 5th is election day. November 5th is election day. If you did not early vote, get your body out to the voting poll, the voting place, the polling place on November 5th, and cast your vote for whoever you're voting for. Cast your vote. Do your research about the candidates that are running in the races in your area, your local, state, and the federal government presidential election. Find out who's running in every race. Do your research. Know what their policies are. Know what they stand for. Know their history in politics and history in life. Just do your own research and make your own decision about who you think will be the best candidates for your community. Sheriffs, judges, county commissioners, city officials, school board for those who are voting in those races, your state leaders, your governor, your lieutenant governor, the state auditor, the agricultural commissioner, the other commissioners. Just know, Secretary of State. I'm at the local level. Just know who's running in the races in your state and in your local community. Do your research and vote your conviction. Vote your conviction. Vote your conviction. As long as you vote, make a plan to vote and vote. I already got my plan in place. Make a plan and get your hind parts out to the polling place. If you don't like me saying hind parts, I'll be more gentle. Get yourself to the polling place and vote your conviction. Praise the Lord. But get your hind parts out there and vote. If you don't early vote, vote on November 5th. Okay? November 5th. I'm voting for Kamala Harris for president. I'm not ashamed to say that I am voting for Kamala Harris because I believe she is a better candidate of all the candidates from the Green Party, the People Party, the Republican Party, the other. I'm missing a party. Green. Is it a populist party, the People's Party? I believe the Vice President Kamala Harris is the best candidate to run the country for the next 4 to 8 years. And so I am voting for her for the for president. I'm voting for her. I just believe that she's the best candidate. Child. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm voting for Vice President Kamala Harris for president. She has my endorsement. She has my support. That's why I'm voting for president of these here United States of America. You vote your conviction. Whoever you vote your conviction. Vote for who you think will be the best candidate for the president, for the governor, for lieutenant governor, for the other races that are happening in your state. You do your research and vote your conviction as long as you get yourself out and vote. That's all I have to say about that. All right, y'all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Aunt Wanda. Thank you, Uncle Darnell. Thank you, Darren. To everybody who's listening to the live, to everybody who's listening to the rebroadcast, to all the podcast listeners, thank you so much for joining this special edition of Sip and Say with Stephanie, Breast Cancer Awareness, Domestic Violence Awareness. Get your hind parts out and vote. And I mean that with all my heart. Get your hind parts out and vote. Okay, y'all don't sit this election out. Get out and vote. It is imperative that every person, every eligible voter, get your hind parts out and vote. Absentee ballots. I don't know much about absentee ballots, so check your state board of elections website and find out about that. Mail-in ballots. I know that at least in North Carolina, your mail-in ballots have to be in by November 5th. So drop those off if you're mailing in ballots and whatever other ways there are to vote. Get your vote in, okay? If you are in North Carolina, you can register to vote and vote on the same day in person. Not on election day, not November 5th. But if you want to early vote, but you have not registered to vote, you can register an early vote on the same day at the same time. Okay. Early voting again ends November 2nd at 3 p.m. In North Carolina, you have to have a government issued, state issued ID to be able to vote. So have your driver's license, or if you got a state issued ID, from the DMV or from the state board of elections or your local board of elections, just you got to have an ID. There is a list of acceptable forms of ID on the state board of elections website, the North Carolina State Board of Elections website. I will add that to the description so that you can check it out for yourself. You have to have ID in North Carolina. They trying to do everything they can to keep us from voting in North Carolina, y'all. I mean, it's crazy. And not just in North Carolina, in other states across America, but they are trying hard to keep y'all. If the black vote wasn't so powerful, they wouldn't try so hard to keep black folks from voting. Our vote is crucial and our vote is powerful, y'all. So if you are of African American descent, if you are a black person, get your hind parts out to the polls and vote. It is crucial that you vote in this election. So get out and vote. We need every vote. Every vote. If black people's vote did not matter, Republicans and others would not try so hard to suppress the vote. So get your hind parts out and vote. I know that everything that you want to happen is not going to happen. Some of the policies that Vice President Harris has put out, maybe you don't agree with it. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe some of the things that her and President Biden have done, you don't agree with. To me, they've done more. At least they've done more in my lifetime than any other president in my lifetime that I can recall. And so, again, vote your conviction. Okay? But just get out and vote. We need every vote, every vote, every vote. Okay, I'm done. I said I'm done. That's my second closing or my third. I'm done. I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend. I hope that your October 31st is Halloween, Hallows night, All Saints night, whatever you celebrate. And I hope that you've had a great last day of October. I hope that November comes in peace. Y'all don't forget to turn your clocks back. We spring forward in the spring. We fall back in the fall. Turn your clocks back on Saturday night. If you have wall clocks, as I do, go ahead and turn them back. I usually just wait because I like to see my digital time go forward before I check my clocks. Y'all just who I am. And so turn your clocks back. Y'all know most electronic devices, they do it automatically. But if you get to church an hour early, just pray around the building, child. If you can't get in, just pray around the grounds. Release the anointing of the Lord so that the service is great on Sunday morning. So if you get there early, praise God, from whom our blessings flow. But turn your clocks back, fall back in the fall. So don't forget to do that. Okay, y'all. I appreciate you. I love you. I pray that you have a wonderful Thursday night, a wonderful Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and beyond. You all take care. And I will talk to you next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We're going to talk about an election, y'all. Praise the Lord. So it will determine if I need to stop talking. So depending on how this election goes, I'm going to have me some alcohol free. I'm looking at it right now. I got some new alcohol-free, some new muscadine, and some new Scarpinade to try from a different winery. And so, depending on how this election goes, will depend on if I'm drinking that or if I'm drinking something else. Bye, y'all. Y'all take care. Bye, y'all. Take care. I will talk to y'all soon. Okay? Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Before I end, don't forget to like this episode, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Blessings.